On April 1st, 2006, a 27-year-old medical student named Brian Shaffer walked into a bar in Columbus, Ohio. Security cameras captured him entering, chatting, and smiling as it was just another normal Friday night. His jacket was unzipped, his posture was relaxed. But here's the strange part: those same cameras never captured him leaving. A crowded bar with dozens of people around and cameras pointed at every entrance, Brian simply vanished. The digital timestamp on the last footage reads 1:55 a.m. After that, nothing. No fight, no chase, no alarm raised. Just a man existing in plain sight and then not existing. The disappearance would haunt his family, confuse law enforcement, and captivate online sleuths for nearly 2 decades. A man walks into a bar and never walks out. It's a story that doesn't just unsettle, it unnerves, because it isn't about gore or violence, it's about absence, the eerie blank space where life should continue. And sometimes the most chilling stories are the ones that leave nothing behind. No blood, no struggle, no answers, just an empty space where someone used to be. Brian had that kind of quiet likability that drew people in without trying. He was calm, intelligent, and observant. He had a subtle wit and an easy laugh that could lighten tense moments. Friends described him as thoughtful and dependable, someone who remembered small personal details about the people around him. At Ohio State University, he was a second-year medical student with realistic ambitions. His days were regimented: early morning runs, focused study sessions at the library, and late night coffee runs to the same cafe where the baristas already knew his orders. His notes were meticulous. His journal held reflections, song lyrics, sketches, a window into his inner life, glimpses that few saw but that revealed layers of his mind. The psychology of medical students is uniquely intense. They exist in a suspended state between ordinary college life and professional responsibility. Brian felt this tension. He joked about trading his stethoscope for a guitar pick, but friends knew he took his studies seriously. Yet beneath this composed exterior, there was a grief. 3 weeks before the fateful night, his mother, Rini, had passed away from cancer. She had been his anchor, his confidence, the person he turned to when life felt heavy. Her voicemails were still saved on his phone. Losing her left a quiet, persistent weight that he carried beneath a veneer of composure. Brian's social life reflected his complexity. He had a close circle of friends who admired his intelligence and humor. He had a girlfriend, Alexis, with whom he was planning a spring break trip. Some friends whispered he might propose soon. Music was his solace. He loved Pearl Jam, often imagining a life where he could drop everything and run away with a band, leaving the pressure of medical school behind. Small habits defined him further: a soft, ironic laugh at absurd situations, careful attention to organizing his personal space, and the focused competitiveness that showed in board games, trivia, and even light-hearted bits. He was meticulous but not obsessive, ambitious but not reckless, considerate yet quietly independent. All of these traits, discipline, humor, grief, ambition, and sensitivity, made him a complex young man with a bright future. And it is that complexity that makes his disappearance so chilling. He was careful, conscious, aware, yet he vanished completely. A man with routines, plans, relationships, and a scheduled exam review the following Monday didn't just leave. The night of March 31st, 2006 marked the beginning of spring break. Columbus buzzed with energy as students celebrated the end of exams. Brian, needing a break from textbooks, went out with his friend Clint. Together, they moved from bar to bar, laughing, joking, and enjoying the temporary freedom of an academic pause. Later, Meredith Reed joined them, offering a ride and companionship. Their final stop, the ugly Tuna Saloon, a second-floor bar typical of college students. Loud music, flashing neon lights, a mix of students and locals, and the constant clink of glasses. The air was thick, with the scent of beer, fried food, and faint cleaning chemicals. Ordinary, but unmistakable for anyone who had spent nights in a college bar. The ugly tuna occupied the second floor of a building in the Gateway district, accessed by stairs that led past shops and restaurants. It was the kind of place where conversations had to be shouted over music, where people leaned in close to be heard. The crowd was dense, but not hostile, a human hum of conversations laid with occasional bursts of laughter. Patrons leaned over railing, trying to be heard. Bartenders shouted orders, and DJs mixed songs, keeping the energy high. Drinks were poured, conversations overlapped, small incidents occurred, the usual chaos that passes unnoticed until something extraordinary happens. CCTV caught Brian outside the bar around 1:55 a.m. He was chatting with two women, relaxed, smiling, leaning casually. The footage shows him animated, gesturing as he spoke. His body language suggested nothing unusual, no tension, no distress. After a few minutes, he walked back inside. That would be the last time he was seen. As the night continued, Clint and Meredith noticed Brian missing. When the bar began closing, they assumed he had stepped out, gone home, or met someone. College bars are fluid places. People drift between conversations without explanation. But he never returned. His car remained at his apartment untouched. His phone, wallet, and keys were all left behind. Police reviewing hours of CCTV saw Brian enter the bar, the two women leave, and his friends leave. But him, they never saw him exit. Not through the front, not through the back. He vanished. In a building designed to record people coming and going. The ordinary chaos of a college bar, the smells, the sounds, the moving crowd gave zero clues. It was a normal night, ordinary, and yet that ordinariness makes the disappearance all the more unnerving. A man vanishes from the world while surrounded by light, witnesses, and cameras. The next morning, when Brian didn't return home, friends contacted his parents. Bob Schaefer and stepmother Dee. Panic set in. Brian wasn't the type to vanish. Something went very wrong. Police moved fast. Hours of footage from the ugly tuna and nearby bars were scoured frame by frame. Streets were canvassed. Staff, friends, and anyone who might have seen him was interviewed. Detective Andrew Edwards later called the footage review ridiculous and maddening. And yet, every exit Brian should have used showed nothing. Bar staff were baffled. The ugly tuna's cameras covered every entrance, even the service door leading to a construction area. Canine units were brought. Alleys and rooftops were searched. Campus buildings checked, but there was no trace of Brian. News spread like wildfire. Flyers went up across campus and the city. Online, communities obsessed over every detail. CCTV stills, floor plans, witness accounts, mattress loose, debated angles, timing, and theories, diving deep into details most would ignore. Every small detail became a clue, a jacket left behind, a spilled drink, the angle of neon lights glinting off glass, each a piece in a puzzle that refused to solve itself. Hundreds of tips poured in, well meaning, mostly useless. Even minor discrepancies were dissected. One student recalled seeing a man like Brian near an alley. Another swore he spotted him at the bus stop. Every lead ended in frustration. And yet, despite every effort, every clue, every theory, there was a void, a space where Brian should have been. Disappearances are as much about the mind as the body. Grief, stress, and social pressure can push even rational people into incomprehensible choices. Losing a parent, particularly a mother, creates a profound feeling of helplessness and isolation. Some people act out, others quietly withdraw. Brian's friends describe him as cheerful, yet grief can hide beneath smiles. The word sees composure. The mind wrestles with pain. College environments amplify these factors. Crowds, noise, and alcohol create a sense of temporal disorientation. Add grief and academic stress, and even careful people can find themselves in situations that spiral beyond control. A single wrong turn, an unnoticed exit, or a brief lapse could result in something extraordinary, something that ordinary logic cannot explain. Brian was careful, intelligent, and conscious. He had no history of running away or disappearing, yet that exact night he completely vanished. Psychologists emphasize that the most unnerving part is in danger. It's the absence of explanation, no struggle, no forced entry, no foul play. Just a blank space in the timeline of his life, a man existing, a man vanishing, and nothing remains but questions with no answers, and the uncomfortable reminder that people can disappear completely, even in plain sight. Years passed, investigators revisited the case, friends grew older, media cycles moved on, but Brian, he remained absent. Flyers faded, online threads became archives, and still, nothing explained the disappearance. The eerie part isn't just that he vanished, it's how completely normal everything looked the night it happened. The bar, the drinks, the friends laughing, the neon lights flashing. Life continued around him, unaware. The war didn't stop. Brian simply left the timeline, and reality, it carried on. His family never stopped hoping. His father, stepmother, friends, and even girlfriend held on to every clue, every rumor, every fleeting lead. Each anniversary, each media story ignited grief, frustration, and that haunting uncertainty. What if he had chosen to vanish? What if something else, accident, foul play, or a bizarre coincidence had ended his life, leaving no trace? Psychologically, the blank space Brian left invites reflection. Humans are storytellers by nature. We want closure, patterns, and explanations. The absence of all three creates a persistent unease. His disappearance is a mirror, forcing us to confront uncertainty, the fragility of order, and the unpredictable spaces between life and absence. Some online sleuths still debate, theories evolve, a sighting here, a suspicious comment there, a new interpretation of the CCTV footage, each spark a cycle of hope and frustration, and yet, for all the speculation, one fact remains. Brian walked into a bar on April 1st, 2006, and the world, they never saw him leave.